Nepal have secured their spot at the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup. In the match played today, the age group squad secured a thrilling win against United Arab Emirates. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. CPN-UML appeals with CPN Unified Socialist, Rashtriya Swatantra Party and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party for votes in presidential election. 8-party alliance speaks with coalition lawmakers. National Assembly Deputy Chair Aryal criticizes President Bhandari, alleges of violating constitutional norm in relation to the citizenship bill. China's foreign ministry firmly opposed to a new U.S. arms sale package for Taiwan, calls on the U.S. to stop arms sales and military contact with the island. And Nepal progress to ICC Under-19 World Cup for batting sees Nepal struggle in the chase against the United Arab Emirates at the ICC World Cricket League 2. Two presidential candidates, Ramchandra Paudel of Nepali Congress and Subhash Chandra Nemwang of CPN-UML have expedited their appeal for votes. Nemwang and other UML leaders formally met with leaders of other parties and appealed for their votes. UML leaders met CPN Unified Socialist leaders earlier this morning before meeting with the member of Rashtriya Swatantra Party. Meanwhile, the 8-party alliance involving Nepali Congress has begun training its parliamentarians. Prior to this, the alliance had formed and deployed a mechanism for the presidential election which is slated for March 9. CPN-UML has officially requested CPN Unified Socialist to vote in favor of the party's candidate for the presidential election, Subhash Chandra Nemwang. CPN-UML leaders, including presidential candidate Nemwang, had reached the party office of CPN Unified Socialist at 11 a.m. earlier today and urged them to vote in favor of Nemwang. CPN-UML has claimed of receiving a positive response regarding the issue from CPN Unified Socialist. CPN Unified Socialist, meanwhile, has said that it cannot lend its support as the party has already proposed Ramchandra Paudel of Nepali Congress as a presidential candidate. Nemwang has also met with Rashtriya Swatantra Party chairperson Rabi Lamishane and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party chair Rajendra Lingden today itself. In the meantime, the 8-party alliance that has fielded Congress leader Ramchandra Paudel as the candidate for the presidential election has held dialogues with parliamentarians of both the houses of the Federal Parliament. Deputy Chair of the National Assembly Urmila Aryal has criticized President Bidyadevi Bhandari. Aryal said that President Bhandari had failed to operate in a fair manner during her term. Speaking with journalists today, National Assembly Deputy Chair Aryal criticized President Bhandari, saying she had obstructed the citizenship bill on the guidance of others. Aryal further went on to add that President was the guardian of the nation and should not be guided by any political party. President Bidyadevi Bhandari has urged the stakeholders to address the problems related to agriculture and livestock farming. Addressing a program held at Charikot of Dolakha today, President Bhandari expressed concern regarding the lack of market for agriculture producers and urged for addressing the problems. President Bhandari also expressed concern regarding the delay in construction of 650-megawatt Tamakushi 3rd hydroelectricity project and the North-South highway connecting China and India. Prior to this, President Bhandari had reached Bhimeshwar Mahadev and performed worshipping as well. A call center has been brought into operation to address the problems faced by service seekers related to the National Identity Card. The Department of National ID and Civil Registration in Singadarbar has operated the call center to address the issues of service seekers after 4 years of its establishment. The department has urged the service seekers to call at the call center for any grievances and queries related to the National Identity Card. The call center will also inform the service seekers about the status of their National Identity Card and provide information regarding required corrections and confirmation notices. According to the department, the call center will be operational during the office hours and can be reached at the phone number 0159704449. Up to 4 service seekers can speak with the operators at one time, while more than 250 calls can be handled in a day. A total of 10,800,000 have been registered for the National Identity Card so far. The number of service seekers applying for the National Identity Card has increased as it is mandatory to receive the e-passport. The government has arranged the National Identity Card by ensuring security of the digital identification of the service seekers. The haphazard placement of hoarding board in the Kathmandu metropolis doesn't only provide a case of sore eyes, but they have also increased the chances of accidents. The metropolis has now started removing these hoarding boards to bring them under tax bracket, while the same time has remained reluctant to introduce guidelines. The metropolis, which has also begun a drive of demolishing illegal infrastructure, has also intensified its campaign of removing the hoarding boards. The businesses need to chalk out taxes to display hoarding boards, ranging from sizes 6 to 30 square foot. They have to pay an annual tax of 5 to 1500 to place hoarding boards up to size 15 square foot, while for boards ranging from 15 to 30 square foot, they have to pay a tax amount of up to 1000 rupees per square foot annually. However, many businesses have been displaying such hoarding boards without paying taxes, while some have not got themselves registered. The metropolis in the past 3 months have removed some 10,000 hoarding boards. Likewise, the metropolis does not authorize the promotion of big companies through such hoarding boards. As per its policy, and a 2015 verdict by the Supreme Court does not allow such hoarding boards. However, tempted by revenue collection, the metropolis has allowed businesses to display electronic hoarding boards. Even as such digital boards are kept at private residences, along with shopping complex and public places, the metropolis has not bothered to furnish regulations. Experts say that despite all the business scope at this federal capital, the metropolis needs to consider accidental aspects while giving permission for such digital boards. The metropolis last fiscal year had collected a revenue amount of 70 million rupees under the hoarding board. The metropolis has also garnered 30 million rupees in the first 7 months of the current fiscal year under the same heading. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: why has the meeting of the House of Representatives been postponed for a long period of time? Your options are A, because of presidential election, B, lack of clarity regarding opposition, and C, no business from government. Voting is on. Tap any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Vehicular movement will be completely halted in Kanti Lokpath, which is a short route that connects Kathmandu and Hetauda and Pokhara Mugling road section from Thursday next week. Vehicular movement in Kanti Lokpath road section will be halted from Thursday until 24th of March. The District Administration Office, Makwanpur, has said that movement of vehicles have to be halted for repair works and blacktopping of various sections of the road between Makwanpur and Lalitpur under the Kanti Lokpath. One-way traffic through Bhimfedi Dakshin Kali road section have been arranged for vehicles travelling from Hetauda to Kathmandu, and vehicles headed to Hetauda can leave Kathmandu through Thankot, Chitlang, Bhimfedi road section. Likewise, vehicular movement in Prithvi Highway will be halted from midnight tonight until 4 AM tomorrow for expansion of the road. The Bimal Nagar Ghasi Kua road section under the east section of the Muglin Pokhara roadway project will be sealed. The authorities have informed that road construction and expansion of east section of the Tanahu Muglin Pokhara road section will begin from tonight. Vehicles will be allowed to pass between 4 AM to 12 PM. Protesting the decisions of the Nepal Rashtra Bank related to loans and interest rates, business persons have padlocked banks in Kailali. Business persons protested since early morning with black armbands and locked the banking and financial institutions. Transactions of the BFIs in Kailali were affected throughout the day because of the protest. The agitated businesses, in fact business persons, have warned of intensifying their protest programs if their demands are not addressed. Business persons of Kanchanpur have also been agitated in relation to the interest rates. Projects to manage and beautify the Narayani River beach in a sea beach model have been expedited. Bharatpur Metropolis Mayor Renu Dahal and Deputy Mayor Chitrasen Adhikari jointly laid the foundation stone for the location for evening Arati and riverbank conservation efforts. Evening Arati has continued every day at the Narayani riverbank. However, challenges had surfaced in absence of lack of proper managed location for the Arati. Meanwhile, beautification works of the 640-meter area in the upper region from the Narayani river have begun. Laboratory equipments worth tens of millions of rupees of the district hospital Jajarkot have not been used. With the equipments brought from the province public health laboratory Surkhet not being used, the local residents are compelled to move out of the district for basic tests including thyroid, sodium and potassium. According to lab technician Bikash Gupta, problems have surfaced because of delay in supply of other required resources. Health Service Office Jajarkot has said that the equipment have not been used because of the lack of capacity of the Hospital Development Committee and had also informed the Ministry of Social Development of the province. District Administration Office Dhading has provided citizenship certificates to the youth with disabilities in Dhading at their homes. District Administration Office reached the home of 24-year-old Jainraj Shakya of Nilkantha Municipality Ward number 12 of Dhading to provide the citizenship certificate. Before this, Shakya was denied the services of the state in absence of the citizenship certificate. Shakya, who is blind and physically and mentally weak, has been making efforts to receive his citizenship certificate for the past 2 weeks. Time now for international update. China's foreign ministry said it was firmly opposed to a new U.S. arms sale package for Taiwan and that the United States should stop arms sale to and military contact with the island. The United States approved the potential sale of $619 million in new weapons to Taiwan, including missiles for its F-16 fleet, as the island reported a second day of large-scale Chinese Air Force intrusion nearby. The arms sales are likely to further sour already tense ties between Washington and Beijing, which has repeatedly demanded such deals stop, viewing them as unwarranted support for democratically governed Taiwan, an island China claims as its own territory. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said that China will continue to take resolute and strong measures to firmly defend its sovereignty and security interests. Rescuers are continuing to search for signs of life among the pile of debris near the city of Larissa following a deadly train collision late on Tuesday in central Greece. The train carrying more than 350 people was traveling from Athens to Thessaloniki. It was full of students heading back home after a carnival break. It collided head-on with a cargo train near the city of Larissa just before midnight Tuesday, killing at least 40 people and injuring dozens of others. Heavy-duty cranes and bulldozers are trying to clean up the debris with the hope of finding survivors. But the scale of the crash is something that the country hasn't been seen before. Shortly afterward, the Greek transport minister resigned, taking responsibility for the deadly crash about 4 hours north of Athens. Emergency rescue crews were quick to respond. This is the deadliest train crash in Greek history, and the government has declared 3 days of national mourning. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has pledged to help those injured and make sure those responsible are held accountable. Although it is still early in the investigation, police have arrested the station master in the city of Larissa, where the train departed. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz on Thursday urged China not to send weapons to help Russia's war in Ukraine and instead asked Beijing to exert pressure on Moscow to pull back its forces. In a speech to the German parliament, Scholz said it was disappointing that Beijing had refrained from condemning the Russian invasion, though he welcomed its efforts towards nuclear de-escalation. Scholz's remarks underscored how the international response to the war in Ukraine highlighted global division, with China and India refraining from condemning the Russian invasion. The US is sounding out close allies about the possibility of imposing new sanctions on China if Beijing provides military support to Russia for its war in Ukraine. The consultations, which are still at a preliminary stage, are intended to drum up support from a range of countries, especially those in the wealthy Group of Seven, to coordinate support for any possible restrictions. For its part, China has issued a 12-point paper calling for a comprehensive ceasefire that was met with skepticism in the West. While welcoming Beijing's stance on nuclear de-escalation, Scholz said one can rightly expect China to discuss its ideas with the main stakeholders, with the Ukrainians and with President Volodymyr Zelensky. A Russian missile slammed into a 5-story apartment building in a city of Zaporizhzhia in southeastern Ukraine on Thursday. Rescue workers carried away the wounded on stretchers and clambered through the ruined building looking for survivors after the early morning strike. The upper floors of the apartment block had been destroyed and cars parked nearby had been crumpled. Fallen debris lay around the building. The Ukrainian State Prosecutor's Office said 4 people had been killed and 8 wounded in the attack, while another 5 were unaccounted for. Beijing on Thursday urged the United States to provide a fair playing ground for Chinese companies operating there after U.S. lawmakers voted to give President Joe Biden the power to ban Chinese-owned TikTok. Lawmakers on the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee had voted 24-16 to approve the measure to grant the administration new powers to ban the ByteDance-owned app, which is used by over 100 million Americans, as well as other apps considered security risks. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning, during a regular briefing, said that China resolutely opposes overstretching of the concept of national security by the United States and the abuse of national power to unreasonably suppress enterprises of other countries. Earlier this week, the White House gave government agencies 30 days to ensure that TikTok is not on any federal devices and systems. More than 30 U.S. states, Canada, and European Union policy institutions have also banned TikTok from being loaded onto state-owned devices. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met his Indian counterpart Subramaniam Jaishankar in New Delhi on Thursday on the sidelines of the G20 foreign ministers meeting. The meeting comes days after a meeting of finance chiefs of G20 countries in the southern city of Bengaluru, which was overshadowed by the Russia-Ukraine war. India, which holds the presidency of the bloc this year, has declined to blame Russia for the war and has sought a diplomatic solution while sharply boosting its purchases of Russian oil. European and US delegates in New Delhi for the foreign ministers' meeting have, however, reiterated that they hold Russia responsible for the conflict. Iran will investigate the poisoning of students, the Minister of Health, Braham Enolahi, said on Thursday. Hundreds of Iranian girls in different schools have suffered mild poison attacks over recent months, the health minister said in February, with some politicians suggesting they could have been targeted by religious groups opposed to girls' education. The poison attacks at more than 30 schools in at least 4 cities started in November in Iran's Shiite Muslim holy city of Qom, prompting some parents to take their children out of school, state media reported. The United States on Wednesday urged Iran to investigate reported poison attacks on girls in different schools over recent months, a U.S. State Department spokesperson said.
Sports News.
Nepal under-19 cricket team have secured a thrilling 7-run win over the United Arab Emirates in the ICC Under-19 World Cup Asia qualifiers and have qualified for the next year's Under-19 World Cup in Sri Lanka. In the match played at the Eden Garden Oval, the United Arab Emirates won the toss and put Nepal to bat, where the visitors were bowled out for 191 runs in 48.5 overs. Nepal had a poor start to their innings and were reduced to 19 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. However, skipper Dev Khanal and Uttam Thapa Magar provided some stability to Nepal innings as they added 84 runs for the 4th wicket. Uttam scored 36 while Dev added 51. Milan Bohra scored 10, Dipesh Kandel added 15 and Hemant Thami made 13. Dhrasav Parsar picked 3 wickets for the UAE while Harith and Aryan Afzal shared 2 wickets each. In reply, the UAE fell short by 7 runs, which meant Nepal won the match and secured their spot at the next year's ICC Under-19 World Cup in Sri Lanka. It is the first time since 2016 that Nepal will be competing at the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup. Team Nepal have suffered a 68-run defeat against the United Arab Emirates in the ICC World Cricket League 2 series. In the match, which concluded a while back at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium, the United Arab Emirates were put to bat, where they posted 207 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in their 50 overs. Asif Khan top scored for the host with 72 runs. Rohan Mustafa remained unbeaten at 52. Aryan Laka added 28. Skipper Chunnan Gyapoil Rizwan made 22, while Vritya Arvind added 18 runs. Sandeep Lamichhane, who is alleged of raping a minor, picked 3 wickets for Nepal, while Karan Kesi, Arif Sheikh and Kushal Malla shared a wicket apiece. In reply, Nepal had a poor start and kept losing wickets at regular intervals. Kushal Malla scored 60 runs before being caught by Rohan Mustafa of Meyyapan. Lamichhane remained unbeaten at 26 runs as Nepal were bowled out for 139 runs in 31.5 overs. And those were our latest headlines. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.